Hello everyone, Megan Purcell here with megsteachingjourney.org. Welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited to do this video. VIPKID asked me to complete a survey, and this survey that they asked me to do was cram-packed full of just really great tips for new teachers to keep those contracts rolling in and to keep you in good standing with VIPKID. So I'm calling this video the VIPKID must-dos for new teachers. So these are things that you are gonna wanna do right from the get-go and to help you be a successful VIPKID teacher, to keep your job with VIPKID, and to have just an amazing positive experience with the company. And also, I'm just gonna go on ahead and ask you to go on ahead and subscribe to my channel because I am going to be bringing you content on a weekly basis for prospective teachers. I have plenty of videos on that for new teachers, for people just wanting to find out about VIPKID, for current teachers. This channel is gonna be for you. So go on ahead and subscribe. And then also during today's video, if you have any questions that maybe I did not cover in this video, I want you to comment with your questions and you will hear from me almost instantly. And then too, I want you to go on ahead and send me an email too. If you have multiple questions that you don't want to put down in the comments, you can email me right here at teachermeganpurcell@gmail.com. I am here to help you. I am here to serve you. And let's just get rolling on the VIPKID must-dos for new teachers. So here we go. So how do I avoid missing class? Well, some things that have helped me for over the past 3 years are four really important things. Number one, consistency. Number two, number three, number four, alarm, alarm, alarm. So what do I mean by consistency? So consistency is a couple of things. So first of all, I'm really consistent with my bookings and my schedule. I try to keep the same schedule every week. Now with VIPKID, we do have the flexibility of going in and changing our schedules and taking off when we need time. But I always try to start at the same time every day when I have opened my weekly bookings. So my current schedule is I always start at 5 a.m. I'm keeping that very consistent right now. So whatever works best for your schedule, just keep it very consistent. So that way when it comes to you going to class, you know it's the same time every day. And then just being consistent with your sleeping schedule. And I'm gonna talk about that here in a minute, but just being really consistent with the amount of rest that you get. This is your job. This is your way of earning income. It might be something on the side, but it's still just as important if you have another job, just as important as showing up and being on time for that as well. So look at it the same way, hold it to the highest of standards, and this will help you to avoid missing those classes. And now when I'm talking about alarms, I was really bad about forgetting to set an alarm my entire life until I started working for VIPKID. And over the span of 3 years, I think I have overslept only twice. And that was simply because I forgot to set my alarm. Now, something that's really cool for iPhone users, and sorry if you don't have an iPhone, I don't know if there's another system out there that does this, but you can go in and you can set your weekly schedule for your alarm. And you don't have to go in there and click each one on each day. No, there's this thing called, I think it's like sleep or bed, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna hop on over to my phone screen and I'm gonna show you how I do that. So once you get to your screen, you'll scroll down and hit your little timer or alarm, and you're going to hit that little bedtime button down at the bottom of your screen. And as you can see, you can modify your weekly go to bed time and wake up time. You can change it. It's very, very easy to operate and use. You can turn it off and you can turn it on. So I've just found this to be super effective.
And it helps me to just always wake up on time and not have to worry about setting that alarm each and every single night, because I'm really bad to forget about it. Most likely you are too.
Basically, my thing is I get up 30 minutes before class and just, you know, kind of get woken up. I come into my office and I make sure that everything is turned on. And then while everything's booting up, getting ready to go, I go make me some coffee. And then about 5 minutes before class, I am at my desk. I am ready to go. I'm looking through all of my classes to make sure who I'm teaching that day. And I might set out some props just to make sure that I am prepared. But I am ready, like flat out ready to go at least 5 minutes before class. Now, have I woken up 10 minutes before class? My alarm starts going off about 30 minutes before class. Now, have I hit the snooze button until 10 minutes before? Yeah. I usually at that point skip the coffee and just come on into my office, turn everything on and get prepared. But that's just something that I have found to work well for me. So my advice is to just figure out what works best. But while you're figuring that out, always, you know, be awake and be ready to go earlier. I know some of my new recruits that get up at least an hour before class. And you know, when I first started teaching, I probably did the same thing just because I felt like I needed that time to just breathe, figure out what I was doing and get used to the flow of everything. But now at the most it's 30 minutes, at the least it's 10. Again, I don't do anything to get ready. I might like cover up my dark circles, but other than that, like I'm ready to go. And that's how I avoid being late and making sure that I'm always on time for my classes. Weekends, that is probably the more popular or I should say unpopular thing that teachers do, is that they cancel a lot of classes on the weekends. And something that I do that really helps me to not do that, I have only canceled, I think, maybe 2 or 3 classes over my 3 years. It's really important to me. That is my job. If I open the slots, I am responsible to teach them. Now, life happens. Things happen, you get sick, family members get sick, something tragic happens, and VIPKID works with you on those things. But canceling for, you know, things that I want to do on the weekend or things that I planned on the weekend, you know, if I booked classes, that's on me. So, and one of the things that I love about VIPKID is that I can teach from anywhere. So have I forgotten and opened up classes on a weekend that I have something? Yeah, I have. And I've just taken some things with me and I've done it on the road or taught from wherever it was that I was going. And that's what's convenient about it. But something that I recommend is to get a planner. And I'm not saying get a planner for VIPKID stuff, but get a planner for your life. At the beginning of each month, I sit down and I plan out into even the following month all the important things that I absolutely know is happening and going on within my schedule. And when I open up bookings on Sunday nights, I pull out my planner and I check and see before I start opening anything if I have something going on. And again, the beauty of VIPKID is that I can say, oh, well, I'm not going to work that day because I'm out of town, or I'm going to this, or I'm doing that. But I have it all laid out in front of me and I know when I can and cannot teach. So that is my #1 trick to avoid cancellations on the weekends. I just keep a very detailed schedule of my life. And if I make that mistake and open up, I stick to it and I just make it work. Okay, so when you first start teaching with VIPKID, the sleep schedule and getting up early or staying up late to teach, or just accommodating that can be really tricky, and it just takes some time to start modifying your daily life in order to make sure that you have enough energy when you are teaching your students. Because again, if you are tired or, you know, just worn out in your classroom, your student can tell, and that's really going to affect your bookings, and that's going to cause complaints from parents, and then that's going to cause your contract to be evaluated, and we don't want that. So we want to make sure that when we are interviewed in our VIPKID classrooms that we have energy. And so some things that I've done on days that I have just been so tired, again, I wake up about 30 minutes before, and if I'm feeling super bogged down, I get on YouTube and I will do like a mini workout. Like there's tons of workouts on there. I'll do like a 5-minute workout just to get my blood pumping. Yeah, I have to be really, really dead tired to do this. This is like my last resort. But I have found that it has worked, or I'll like jog in place for like a couple minutes. That has really helped to get my blood flowing and get me up and running. And then number 2 is caffeine. That one's the obvious one. I'm a coffee drinker, but I know there's not a lot of people that like to drink caffeine. So energy drinks are good for that. Energy supplements are good. I have some little energy supplement like gummies that I use when I'm running, that I've also, like if I didn't have time to make coffee, I'll just eat one of those, and they've got some caffeine in there, and that really helps me just to kind of get some energy. But number 3 is the one that is the most important, and that's consistent sleep schedule. So in my house, me and my husband, like he has adopted my sleeping schedule. I think he found that he rather go to bed earlier. And you know, we don't have kids, so that makes it a little bit easier, but we both are in bed at like 9:30 and 10 o'clock at the latest. Because I know in order to teach effectively and to have enough rest, I have to go to sleep at 9:30 or 10 o'clock at the latest. And when I don't do that, I feel it the next day. And so I just take responsibility for my sleeping schedule, and I just make sure that I go to bed on time. It's simple, but super effective. So go to sleep early. You'll thank me, and your kids will thank you too. So I did a video on this, and I'm gonna link it right here, and then we'll also play at the end of this video. But I did a video on how to get bookings in 2020, and I covered this specifically, and I give you a breakdown of each of these things that I'm about to share with you in more detail. So I'm just gonna pass through this tip rather quickly. And so I have 7 tips that I recommend in order to get those regular students. So first and foremost, you wanna have a really great introduction video. And if you are my recruit, I offer a free introduction video edited by me. You just send me the videos and I do all the work for you if you are my referral. If not, I do offer this as a service, and you can email me down below. It's a great price. I always say I want us to earn money, not spend money. It's well worth your time and well worth your money for me to help you with your introduction video. And then number 2, be set apart. Be different. Be your unique self. Something that I am passionate about is music. So I try to incorporate music within my classroom when I can. And that kind of puts me, kind of has me as being set apart because that's something I'm passionate about, and I'm passionate about teaching English. So I put the 2 together. So be different, be set apart, be you, be the best version of yourself. Number 3 is effective feedback. You want to learn how to give effective feedback. That'll help bring those students in, because parents will say, oh, wow, they leave really detailed feedback. They're really knowledgeable about this process. So you want to learn how to do that. Number 4 is build rapport with your students. You want to get to know your students. You want to ask them questions, find out what they like, find out what they don't like, and then use those things within your classroom. Making those personal connections is really, really important. And number 5, attend new teacher workshops. When you get your teacher portal, there is a tab in there that is full of all kinds of really helpful resources. Attend those those new teacher workshops. That's going to help you learn exactly how to get those students to come rolling in, things you can do in your classroom that attracts people to you as a VIPKID teacher. The next one is perfect trial classes. So trial classes are a student's first glimpse of the company. Maybe they've taken 1 or 2 classes before you, but it's their first experiences with the company, and you want to perfect trial classes so that you can convert those trial students into master course students. And then if they really liked your class, they are going to come back to you and they're going to book you as their teacher. So perfect trial classes. Again, there's workshops on all of those. Get certified for all of those trial classes, and this is really going to help you get those regular students. And then number 7 is prepare. You want to make sure that you're prepared for your classes. Go through the night before and check what lessons you're teaching and just kind of flip through them. Eventually you won't have to do that. I don't prepare at all. I've taught over the span of 3 years, I feel like I've taught every single lesson at least one time. And so like I don't do that anymore, but you want to make sure you're doing that at first so that you can get to that point where you don't have to prepare. So that's it. How do I keep patient in class? Lots of deep breaths. There's gonna come a time when your patience is thin, but more often than not, I am full of patience because I do have wonderful students, but there have been times when my patience has been tested. And just some things that I always try to do with my students is, first and foremost, I realize that I'm not perfect. And there have been times in my class where I know that my patience is being tested and I'm struggling, but my student never knows it. I can act. And I can act like I'm not patient. I just smile really big and wait. So that's my patient face. But you know, I realize that I'm not perfect and I'm not always going to be patient, but there are some things that I'm just constantly aware of that I need to be patient. And that brings me to number 2, become my student. Now, I don't mean like become my student. No, I just mean I put myself in their shoes. If I were learning Chinese and I was struggling with something, or maybe more interested in something else because Chinese is just hard, I just think about what my student might be feeling, what they might be thinking. So I try to constantly put myself in their shoes and try to adapt to whatever situation's going on that's requiring more patience from me. And some things that I like to do is to give 3 to 5 seconds. So if I say something and my student, I'm trying to be patient to get them to say what it is I need them to say or do what I need them to do, I give them 3 to 5 seconds. And then if it's not working, I'll show them, or I might repeat what I say and get a little bit closer. If I have a student that's not paying attention, I might give them 3 to 5 seconds, and then I'm like, or I might say their name in a fun way to get them back focused on me. I'll do whatever I have to do, and that is get creative. So get creative and find out what works for your student. If they're not repeating by just speaking, try singing the sentence to help get them to participate. And you know, I have had to tell my students, hey, put that away, stop please, and just be patient, give them some time, but don't be afraid to also make those corrections, because you got to think those parents are paying for their students to take class, and you want to make sure that the class is flowing and that you're able to get through everything. So yes, be patient, but don't be afraid to do what you need to do to get their attention and have them focused back on you. So there you have it. Teacher ITs can really hurt your contract. If you've had too many, VIPKID will evaluate your class, your profile, They'll sometimes shut your bookings down if you've had way too many teacher ITs. So that is really important, that you make sure that your technology and everything within your classroom is working properly. So here's what I do to avoid those teacher ITs is I wake up and boot up. So like I said, I wake up 30 minutes before. The first thing that I do is I like mummy walk into my office, and I make sure that my computer is turned on, it is booting up. I make sure my headphones are plugged in because I use wired ones, and I make sure that my internet is plugged in directly to my internet source, and I let that boot up while I go and make my coffee. And then about 2 to 3 minutes before class starts, I go into my settings on my screen, and like right below where my face is, there's like a little settings button, and you can click that, and I make sure that my audio is working, and I make sure that my video is working, and I check both of those, and it will actually tell you that everything's working properly or if something's not working properly. And then I always have, and if you don't have an iPad, it's okay, but this is just something that I use. So in the event that my computer will not boot up and it's not working, and that has happened, I can teach from my iPad. So I make sure that my iPad is always charged and ready to go in the event that my computer is not. So I'll teach from my iPad, and that has saved me a lot of teacher ITs, because if I didn't have a backup, then I just would have missed class. So I highly recommend it. If you have an iPad, you can download the app and you can use that to teach class as well. And then if something is funky with my internet, which happens, like the weather affects my internet quite often, or it could just be down, I connect to the data on my phone. Now, I don't like to do this because it uses my data, but it's good to have. It does work. When I was traveling, the internet source that I was connecting to, because it was like a travel destination, like everybody was on that internet, so that was too slow for me to access my classroom. So I got my phone data hooked up to my computer, and I taught class that way, and that worked. So these are just some things that work for me to help me avoid teacher ITs. There you have it. VIPKid new teacher must-dos. I hope that you found this video helpful. And again, if you have a question that I didn't talk about, because I'm sure there's a million questions, because I know when I started, I had a million questions. So if you have a question for me, you can comment on this video, or feel free to send me an email, and I will get back to you, and it is my promise to help you out and to get you the answers that you're looking for. And then I'm also just going to go on ahead and ask you to please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you coming back to me on a weekly basis, checking out my weekly content. Also, check out my video on 2020 bookings for VIPKid. There's a lot of helpful information that goes along with this video that you just watched with more specifics. So please check out that video, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all next time. Happy teaching, everyone.